Mozilla is a really weird company in a really weird position. Firefox is basically the only bulwark against a near-complete Chromium monopoly. Safari does have quite a lot of users on Apple devices, the only place it exists, and there are Firefox forks that exist, but none of those projects have the ability to maintain Firefox, so they're kind of reliant on Mozilla still doing their thing. And WebKit GTK does exist, but there's not really that many browsers that use it. Ladybird is a thing that'll be an alpha in a couple of years. So like it or not, most of the web is either Chrome, Chromium, or something based on Chromium. Now, I have had my fair share of issues with Mozilla over the years, whether it's just continuously releasing new products that are either way too early and then shut down before they can become popular, or released way too late and then not marketed, and then also often not available in most of the world. I can't get Mozilla VPN even if I wanted to, whether it be the CEO salary constantly going up, especially under the tenure of Mitchell Baker, when the browser was falling out of market share, whether it be spending lots and lots and lots of money on things besides Mozilla tech, and whether it be things like the browser missing features that people have asked for a very long time, like progressive web apps. I have been critical of Mozilla for a very long time. It doesn't mean I don't use Firefox, I still think it's a great browser, but for whatever reason, a Mastodon instance is what made people angry with Mozilla. A Mastodon instance that frankly wasn't very popular, that only had about 270 users. And you can tell it wasn't very popular by looking at the replies to this announcement. We've made the hard decision to end our experiment with Mozilla.social, the Mozilla Mastodon instance, and will shut down the Mastodon instance on December 17th, 2024. What a random date to shut it down. Why not the start of the month or the end? Okay. Thank you for being part of the Mozilla.social community and providing feedback during our closed beta. You can continue to use Mozilla.social until December 17th. Before that date, you can download your data here and migrate your account to another instance following these instructions. Now, besides the original post here, any account that doesn't have at something after their name, that is an account that exists on this current instance. Let me just scroll for a bit and let's see if we find one. And we keep scrolling. And we keep scrolling. And we keep scrolling. Now, this was opened in May of 2023. It was opened as a closed beta test. Even though it was a closed beta test, it wasn't like it was impossible to join. Basically, all you had to do was join the waiting list, and eventually you would get an invite. Now, I mentioned they had about 270 users, and in this thread, there was one person I found. I don't even know where they are now, but one person I found actually on the instance. It is a mystery why this ever would have been shut down. Let alone the fact that Mastodon's had a much slower rate of adoption than people thought it was going to have. It was very fast initially, but then all the people that didn't like Twitter left Twitter. The only people who might still leave Twitter are those who like to complain about Twitter, who want to be on Twitter because that's where everyone is to see them complaining about Twitter. Now, whilst the shutdown might be a shock to some, to those who are paying close attention to tech news, you might already have realized this was going to happen. So back in February, Mitchell Baker stepped down as CEO of Mozilla. She was replaced by the 3-year board member, Laura Chambers. Now, it's unclear if Laura is going to be the CEO going forward. She was brought in at least until the end of the year, but it's entirely possible she is going to be the new permanent CEO. And she has two very clear goals. Firstly, vision and strategy for the future, refining the company's vision and aligning the corporate and product strategy behind it. This will be grounded in our mission and unique strengths and shaped by our point of view on technology's future and our role in it. 2, outstanding execution, focus, processes, capabilities. doubling down on our core products like Firefox and building out our capabilities and innovation pipeline to bring new compelling products to market. Now, especially the Firefox part, I'm sure a lot of you agree with the second point. The first point, vision and strategy for the future. This can mean a lot of things, and what does vision for the future mean right now? We're at a critical juncture where public trust in institutions, governments, and the fabric of the internet has reached unprecedented lows. There's a tectonic shift underway as everyone battles to own the future of AI. It is Mozilla's opportunity and imperative to forge a better future. Just a few days later, TechCrunch posted an internal Mozilla memo. Mozilla downsizes as it refocuses on Firefox and AI. Read the memo. And this literally says Mozilla.social is probably gonna shut down here. Scaling back investment, Mozilla.social. With Mozilla.social, we made a big bet in 2023 to build a safer, better social media experience based on Mastodon and the Fediverse, with 300 users. Also, it didn't build a better social media experience. It was just a Mastodon instance that anybody else could run. I could literally go and set up a Mastodon instance that has 300 users. If I just make one and just put a link in the description, it's gonna happen. Our initial approach was based on a belief that Mozilla needed to quickly reach large scale in order to effectively shape the future of social media. But you didn't do that. It was a noble idea, but one we struggled to execute. While we resourced Mozilla.social heavily to pursue this ambitious idea, in retrospect, a more modest approach would have enabled us to participate in the space with considerably greater agility. The actions we're taking today will make this strategic correction, working through a much smaller team to participate in the Mastodon ecosystem and more rapidly bringing smaller experiments to people that choose to live on the Mozilla.social instance. So basically, they cut the team back in February, and they cut the team again, this time cutting it to 0. Also, right-sizing the people team. In 2023, generative AI began rapidly shifting the industry landscape. Mozilla sees an opportunity to bring trustworthy AI into Firefox, largely driven by the FakeSpot acquisition and the product integration work that followed. Additionally, finding great content is still a critical use case for the internet. Therefore, as part of the changes today, we will be bringing together Pocket, Content, and the AI/ML teams supporting content with the Firefox organization. I am not as anti-AI as many other people. I think there are ways they can be done ethically, and I think there are cases where it does really good work. For example, AI-generated closed captions or subtitles, which is what I do for my videos, and then I hand edit them. This is something that just would not have happened if I didn't have a system to generate this. I just don't have the time to go and write everything by hand. And there are uses for things like prosthetics and brain implants and things like that. I understand the main focus is around art and music and things like that, and a lot of people have a lot of problems, and code as well, and totally valid. But even though a lot of it is bad, it doesn't mean that nobody should try to do something good. Now, when this shutdown was announced, there was a bit of tech media coverage, once again from TechCrunch, another from Yahoo Finance. Why Yahoo Finance? I don't know, I didn't realize this still existed, but most of the discussion was on the Fediverse itself. So let's talk about some of the reactions that people had. Firstly, we have Jason Evangelo. I have zero confidence left in Mozilla's leadership. In fact, here's a bold prediction. The Thunderbird team, operating under the wholly owned subsidiary known as MZLA, will be more profitable within 5 years than Mozilla Corporation. Yes, that same dying product Mozilla abandoned in 2012, the one the community kept alive, and the one that is now thriving. Eventually, Mozilla will adopt MZLA, begging them to come back. Now, he was an employee of Mozilla. He is not one anymore. One of the weirdest disconnects happened a few months ago when I received a Mozilla Foundation newsletter about the evils of big corporations building unethical AI. It was a donation appeal so they could gear up to fight against companies like OpenAI. This doesn't seem strange until you consider that Mozilla is currently paying a ChatGPT enterprise license for all thousands of its employees and encouraging them to use it for productivity, brainstorming, and code. Yeah, it didn't sit well at all. Also, MDN Plus is just basically an OpenAI skin. Here we just have a meme. Do I need to explain it? Here we have a reply to Jason's post from Campbell Jones. It's becoming difficult to separate my favorite web browser from the serial foot shooter that develops it. Here we have the one that used to be known as the Linux gamer, Gardner Bryant. Mozilla is compromised. It's sad. Honestly, my favorite take is from the Lutris developer. While you were complaining about Mozilla shutting down a Mastodon instance no one cares about, I was making garam masala. Now my kitchen smells great. But this random user kinda sums up the entire problem. I didn't realize Mozilla has a server in the Fediverse. Now, there's not many Mozilla people that have actually commented about this, probably because they just don't want to deal with people, but we do have someone from Thunderbird, Ryan Lee Sipes. Why is everyone hating on Mozilla Corporation for shutting down a Mastodon instance with barely any users? Doesn't it make sense that they should focus on making Firefox better? There are many, many great Mastodon instances. There's not that many good browsers that aren't Chromium-based. Me, Duck's in anticipation of the Fediverse's fury, and honestly, I actually haven't seen, I don't think, any, criticism of him. I did have a back and forth with him about it, but, I don't think I saw anyone, getting angry about this. Here's the thing, right? I don't actually care about a Mastodon instance being shut down. If this means that a bit more money can be spent on Firefox, that's good. And maybe not just Firefox, but other things Mozilla is doing that are tech-related, not outside nonsense. That's good. Now, I understand people having an issue with AI, and we'll see where this goes. I don't know if it's ever going to go away. It probably won't. It might seem like a bubble right now, and it definitely is, but the internet was also a bubble, and then everything popped, everyone lost a lot of money, and then things slowly built back up over time as people realized actual use cases for it instead of AI rice cookers. But with that being said, I understand why people feel burnt by Mozilla. There has just been a lot of little things over the years, and even though this one doesn't really matter, it's just, the straw that broke the camel's back. It's the thing that finally got people talking about it, that finally made people angry. But let me know your thoughts down below. Do you think this matters? Were you an elusive Mozilla.social, not Mastodon, Mozilla.social user? I would love to know. So if you liked the video, go like the video. And if you really liked the video and you want to become one of these amazing people over here, check out the Patreon, subscribe to the Brodie link in the description down below. That's going to be it for me, and I don't think they actually exist.
Like this.